Hey guys, this is going to be my video tutorial of Lime Rock Park in the MX-5. It's a pretty ugly lap, but it was quick, so I think it'll be okay to use. I have some more replays of cleaner laps, but not as fast as this, so I think I'm going to stick to using this one. I'm just going to play the video so you can see the lap if you want to just see the lap with no commentary. Alright, so that was the lap in full time, real time, without any commentary. Now let me walk you through it turn by turn. Before I do anything, I just want to say that this track is all about momentum. If you lose momentum in even one turn, then you're going to screw yourself for the rest of the lap. So it's really important to keep your eye on the minimum speeds through the turns and not braking too much in any of the turns. So yeah, let's go. Turn 1, I consider turns 1 and 2 sort of one turn, but you're going to want to brake for turn 1 right at the 2 board. If you're not comfortable with that, you can start out at the 4 or the 3. Just work your way up to the 2, and you want to get as close to it as possible. And initially the braking force is hard. You can see on the red marker in the over here on the pedal box, you can see it's more than 75% initially, but I back off to about 50% of the brakes, and just you don't want to go too hard because you don't want it to kick out the rear and scrub off that momentum like I was talking about before. So as you can see, I do about half brakes, and then once I'm confident that I'm slow enough, then I let the car coast and downshift into third. I just blip the throttle at the same time I downshift so it doesn't unsettle the car. A little blip of the throttle there after I downshift to keep the minimum speed up. You want to see about 70 miles an hour through the first part of this big turn, and just before the exit I think 67 is the minimum speed that you want to see through there. Yeah, so it went down to 66 just briefly, and then but pretty much it was 67. And then after, right about here, you can go back to full throttle. But you want to stay off of this curb on the inside. I think this lap I may have hit it. If you go on the curb, it's going to lift off the right rear wheel off the ground, and it's just going to spin. And obviously if the wheel's spinning in the air, you're not going to be putting any power to the ground, and you're going to lose a little bit of time. It's not that big of a deal because it's a very short straight to turn 3, but try to stay off of it anyway because it'll also push you wide on track out, and you don't want to go into the dirt over there. It'll give you a 1x. As you can see, I touched the curb a little bit, not as much as I thought I did, but over here I'm a lot wider than I should be, and I'm actually lucky I didn't get a 1x there because they give you an off track there for just putting 2 wheels off into the grass, so you want to stay away from that as much as you can. And like I said before, this is a pretty sloppy lap, but it gets the job done because it was quick. For turn 3, I like to stay either a shallow or mid-turn or mid-track for turn-in. I don't like staying out too wide. I think it's pointless. So the widest you want to be is right in the middle of the track, in my opinion. And then when you come to brake, I like to turn before I brake and then get the car in a straight line when I brake so it doesn't unsettle the car, and then downshift from 4 to 3. And in this lap, I blip the throttle because I brake too much. But normally I like to shift 4-3 and let the car coast for the first bit, and then don't touch the throttle until I know that I can get back onto full throttle. Like I said, I know that I didn't do that here, but that's what I normally try to do. Right there I had to blip the throttle because I was going too slowly, but normally I like to coast all the way up to right here and then I go back to full throttle. Stay off of this curb. Pretty much all the curbs on this track you want to stay off of, just as a rule of thumb, especially on the inside. If it's on track out, then the curb is okay, but you really don't want to hit a curb on the inside of the track. You want to stay full throttle through this whole complex here, turn 3 and 4, because it leads onto the back straight, and while it's not a huge back straight, you need that momentum, like I said, to carry through the lap. I like to try and get as wide out here as I possibly can. I didn't get too wide on this lap. Normally I'm right on this line, but it was okay because I was able to carry the full throttle through here, so it worked out. And this turn is banked, so even if you think you can't make it, chances are that you can. But a minimum speed you want to see in this turn is 74 in the cockpit. I know it's a little bit different down here than into the cockpit, but the cockpit speed should be minimum 74, and you'll be fine. If you're faster than that, you might not make it. If you're slower, you'll definitely make it. You just will be losing time. So you can use the exit curb there on track out, but you want to stay off of the curbs on the inside here again. Like I said before, you want to get very close to them because the track is banked, and you want to use up all of that road there, but you don't want to actually touch that curb because it's tall and it'll unsettle the car. But these curbs on that track out, those are fine to use. This is one of the most important turns in the track, and having driven this track in real life, it's also one of the scariest. But the minimum speed you want to see before you go up the hill is 93, and the minimum speed you want to see coming out of the hill is 90, because you're going to lose some speed going up the big hill. If you go below 90, you're going too slow, and if you're new to this track and car, chances are you're going to be seeing like 85 or something a lot slower. Don't be discouraged by that. It takes a while to work your way up to that speed. But once you get comfortable with the car and you're really pushing to get every single tenth out of the car, then those are the speeds you want to look for. And if you want, you can tap the brakes right here where I am right now, or you can just let the car glide. I like to let the car coast or glide through there. I don't like tapping the brakes, but it's not any slower or faster to use the brakes, so you can use the brakes if you want to. I just don't personally like it. Here on this particular lap I turned in too early. You don't want to get on these curbs. Like I said before, on the inside of this track, pretty much stay off of all the curbs. But I hit them here, and as you'll see, it pushes me out wide over the uphill, and I'm pretty lucky not to have gotten an off track because I did have two wheels off. But you want to stay off of these curbs if you can. And as you can see, 93 is my lowest speed, but when I come up the hill it goes down to 90. Right there it goes to 90, and if you look outside of the car, I actually have two wheels off the ground. So it's a pretty intense hill. And you can see how the car got pushed out wide there, and I'm not sure how that wasn't an off track. I got lucky there, but it didn't count it as an off track for me that time. So basically you just want to stay off the inside curbs there when going up the hill. And another important thing here is that you obviously can't see over the hill, but I like to use this line on the left side. I like to line my car up with that. I'm wide here, like I said before, but in order to get the car going straight over the hill and not go sideways, you have to have the car straight in a straight line before you get to the crest of the hill. Otherwise it'll kick the car sideways and it's very hard to save that. So try and keep your car straight as you're going over the crest. Even though I was wide here, the car was still straight as I went over the hill, so it didn't go sideways. West bend, I like to do heavy braking, but for as short amount of time as I can, so just a quick dab of the brakes, but a very hard dab. And again, I want to normally stay off of the inside curb here, but on this lap I hit it exactly the wrong spot. But if you do hit it, you can either put your wheels on the grass over here, and it won't give you an off track, and keep your left wheels on the pavement, or keep your right wheels to the left of the curb. That's what I normally try to do. but this time I turned in too early and I went up on the curb, and it was pretty much as wrong as I could have got it, but I still was able to carry speed through here. And the cockpit speed that you want to see through here, the minimum, is 87. So going through the turns, you want to see 87 through here. And you can use up all this curb on the outside. I actually got into the grass a little bit because I hit the curb, it pushed me wide. But don't be afraid to use this curb out here. You can see how early I shift into 5th, going pretty much as soon as I get underneath this bridge, I shift into 5th. So right here I'm about to shift and I'm right underneath the bridge. You can shift early here because you're going downhill and it's very steep, so you don't lose any time from shifting into 5th there. Here you can see how wide I am. Pretty much I can't get any wider than that. You want to go as wide as you can there to carry as much speed as you possibly can through the downhill. And again, stay off the inside curb here. The speed you're looking for in this turn is 102 minimum. You can only do that if you have fresh tires though. If you have tires that are even a lap old, you're not going to be able to see more than 100 miles an hour through there. So if you're in the race, anything 100 miles an hour is pretty much the fastest minimum speed you're going to see through there, but if you're on a qualifying lap on fresh tires, then you want to see a minimum of 102 through there. And like I said, stay off the inside curb. And the turn-in point is the trickiest part of this. You want to turn in almost as soon as you get to the bottom of the hill here. I'll show you the turn-in. Right there is the turn-in, and the hill ends pretty much right here. So as soon as the hill flattens out, you want to turn in, and that'll pretty much keep you off the curbs, but as close to them as you can possibly be. You can see my lowest speed is 102, and I am actually on the curb, but just barely. This curb is very shallow to begin with, but then it gets steep, so you can put your 2 wheels on the inside of the curb right here, but you don't want to go out, or the outside of the curb, sorry. You don't want to go up to the inside of the curb. And don't be afraid to track out wide. Use all of this exit curb. That's going to help you with your speed down the front straight. You can say use it all up there. And the other speed that I look for is over the start-finish line. It should be about 115. Yeah, 115, 116. So on your outlap, you want to really nail the downhill as best you can to get a good run into turn 1 for your flying lap, and I look at the start-finish line to see what my speed is going over there, and it should be at least 115. Anything over that is great, but at least 115 is good. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully I explained it well, and thanks for watching.